Greatness rarely announces its arrival. It doesn't knock. It doesn't politely request permission. It takes shape where no applause exists, in the quiet corners of life, where effort isn't admired, where progress isn't visible, and where the world pays no attention. Darkness becomes the beginning, the first battlefield, the training ground where a man learns what remains, when comfort is removed and silence takes over. In darkness, the mind has no audience to impress, no eyes to perform for, no expectations to live up to. The only voice that remains is the one that refuses to soften. Even when exhaustion grows heavy and the path feels endless, that voice doesn't beg, it commands. It doesn't comfort, it sharpens. And with every repetition, every late-night grind, every moment where giving up feels easier than continuing, something shifts. Not instantly, not dramatically, but undeniably, darkness has a way of revealing truth. Not the kind spoken in conversation, but the kind discovered through struggle, the kind carved through long nights, cold mornings, and relentless pressure, the kind that turns uncertainty into conviction and hesitation into instinct. Some call it obsession, others call it madness, but in reality, it's evolution. A man learns more about himself in solitude than crowds could ever offer. Crowds praise results. Silence reveals character. When the world isn't clapping, when progress goes unnoticed, when no validation arrives, the grind becomes pure, raw, undiluted. Effort becomes identity. Consistency becomes belief. Discipline becomes destiny. Darkness is not a prison, though many treat it as one. Darkness is a forge, and every challenge inside, it burns away the parts of a man that never belonged. Fear, hesitation, doubt, comfort. Piece by piece, the unnecessary falls away, and what remains is sharper than most. There comes a moment in the journey, not always recognized, but always earned, where the grind no longer feels forced, where discipline stops being effort and becomes instinct, where the mind stops negotiating and starts commanding. That moment is rare. It cannot be gifted. It cannot be taught in a classroom, a podcast, or a motivational speech. It is only earned through the hours when nobody watches. Those who train in silence develop a different kind of strength, a strength that doesn't rely on external approval to exist, a strength that doesn't fade when environment changes. Public strength is loud, private strength is permanent. Darkness teaches patience, the kind that doesn't fear slow progress. Brick after brick, repetition after repetition, failure after failure, momentum grows, not explosively, but steadily, relentlessly. The world often confuses speed with success, but darkness reveals a deeper truth. Consistency is a greater weapon than talent. A gifted man may rise quickly, but without discipline, he collapses just as fast. A slow builder, forged in isolation, becomes unstoppable, not because of superiority, but because of permanence. There is a type of hunger that cannot be faked, a type of ambition that doesn't require motivation, a type of mindset that keeps going long after the emotional high fades. Darkness creates that hunger. It starves distraction. It suffocates weakness. It forces a man to confront the truth he avoids in daylight, the truth about his potential, about his limits, about the life he refuses to settle for. Most people want the reward. Few are willing to build the foundation. Most admire strength. Few are willing to endure the weight that creates it. Building in darkness demands sacrifice. Sleep becomes secondary. Comfort becomes irrelevant. Routine becomes ritual. And every decision begins to align with purpose, not pleasure. There is a peace found in the grind that the untested will never understand. The kind of peace that comes when a man knows he is giving everything he has, not for applause, not for approval, not for recognition, but because greatness becomes non-negotiable. Silence becomes sacred. Effort becomes identity. The path becomes the reason, not the burden. In darkness, failure isn't final, it's feedback. Mistakes aren't evidence of inadequacy, they are blueprints for mastery. Pain isn't punishment, it's proof of pursuit. And there comes a day, not announced, not dramatic, just a normal day where the world finally notices. Strength becomes visible. Presence becomes undeniable. Skills become sharp enough to command respect without requesting it. The grind that once felt invisible becomes unforgettable. But even then, the mindset built in darkness never seeks validation. Recognition doesn't define it. Praise doesn't inflate it. Criticism doesn't break it, because darkness creates something invincible. A mindset that doesn't need permission to exist. A man forged in silence walks with a different energy. Not arrogant, but certain. Not loud, but powerful. Not rushed, but inevitable. The world may see results, but it will never understand the nights it took to build them. Sacrifices, the isolation, the focus, the relentless refusal to settle. And that misunderstanding is a gift, because not every story requires explanation. Some achievements exist purely as proof of what discipline looks like when nobody is watching. So let the darkness remain part of the journey. Let the silence become fuel. Let the grind continue, even when progress feels invisible. Let the path stay demanding, unforgiving, and uncompromising, because the greatest transformations do not happen under lights. They happen when nobody is paying attention. And when the world finally sees the results, it will never understand how long the darkness lasted. But the man who endured it will never forget. Not because it was painful, not because it was difficult, but because that was the moment everything changed, not externally, but internally. Greatness is not discovered, it is constructed, built in darkness, and destined to rise. Until next time, keep working, keep grinding.